Do a workout, but then I wanted to answer questions, give you my thoughts about Russia nationals that are, finals are set. Gonna wrestle tomorrow around 2 o'clock Harvard time. That's Eastern Standard, if you don't know what that means. 57 kilograms, young guys in there. Artem Gabayev, he lost yesterday, so he didn't advance. Lev Pavel, both those guys, U20. Actually, Gabayev might be U23 now, but Pavlov just won the U20s nationals like a week ago, and he's back wrestling again, which is, I thought was crazy, but he made the finals. So 20-year-old made the finals. He'll take on Ahmed Izradov. He's been like 57 kilos forever. He eked out a narrow win against Gamzatov in the semis. And gosh, it was unbelievable. That's just the first weight class. And both of them filled with excitement. I want to kind of get back to the viewership and the presentability and things of that nature in a bit, but that's 57. Finals are tomorrow. 65 kilo, the next Olympic weight. Abaskaji Magomedov, he takes out Ibrahimov. Unreal, Abaskaji has been 61 kilos for as long as I can remember. He was at one point 57, but he finally had to go up for this Olympic quad. I don't think I saw him wrestle one match at 65. So I thought it was foreign territory for him, and he might have mixed results, but he took out 65 kilo veteran, well, not veteran, but he just won the U23 Worlds, Ibrahimov. But he is a veteran to this weight class, senior weight class. On the other side of this, who we have? We have, Shamil Mamedov. He was a favorite. He took out Kizanov from North Ossetia. Pretty uneventful. I always learn something when I watch Mamedov wrestle. He's just so very dynamic when he attacks. It's like all these athletes from Russia. They're so dynamic in the way they move. They just don't stop moving. And American wrestlers want to do one move at a time. And, we learn hundreds and thousands of moves in wrestling in the United States. Now, how many times are you going to use some of this shit? It really pisses me off. Coaches take advantage of kids and charge them tons of money to go to their club or go to their camps, and they're just showing them a bunch of garbage. That really pisses me off. That's a whole nother story for another day. But, I really like the way Mamedov continues moving until he gets to a score. It's really unreal. I had to watch one of his sequences like 5, 6 different times to see every little action. It looks like one motion, but there's these tiny little actions that we take for granted. Things that we do, and I would say that I used to do in track and field. These tiny little movements with your feet, you can just see it happening. And people just like, oh, he's just spinning around. Nope, he's not. He's using his biomechanics to do that, but he trains that way. So Mamedov will be in the finals with Abaskaji Magomedov. 74 kilograms, the next Olympic weight class. Olympic champion Zarbek Sidakov. Oh, I should go back and say it, 57 kilograms. Zara Uyev, he wrestled 61 kilograms 2 days ago. He's basically was granted a sit-out for this. He's most likely going to be the representative in Paris. We'll see what happens, but generally when this happens, when they sit the guy out, it's either he's the guy or they got to wrestle the guy off wins the nationals, which is the finals again is tomorrow. That would be Lev Pavlov and Ahmed Izradov. Back to 74. Zarbek Sidakov. Paris Olympic champion. He also got granted a sit-out for the nationals. So 74 is just a wild weight class. The first guy that comes to mind is Anzar Zakuev from Kabarina, Bulgaria. Again, another super dynamic guy. I think every bout that I saw him wrestle, the quarters, the eighth, the quarters, and the semis, he was losing every bout and came back to win within the last few seconds. And they were all bouts with more than 10 points scored. So he's a high flyer. He does some crazy judo stuff. I got the chance to talk with him actually, and he made me a big technique video. Super cool to make friends around the world, and you know, I'm so grateful for that. You know, I think sometimes people see me as only a person that posts videos of wrestling on my Instagram, but you know, I've built so many positive relationships with people, not just in the wrestling world, but I'm grateful for the ones that I have in the wrestling world. They're few and far between, but so many people around the world, Korea, you know, Russia, Mongolia, Japan. There's so many people around the world that I get to communicate with. Philippines, and have those little partnerships. Bulgaria, but yeah. So Anzar Zakuev pulled out a huge win in the semis, and then it looked like, you know, Bezoyev, who's notoriously known as just kind of grabbing an underhook and getting a push out and getting a passivity point and then playing defense for, you know, 5 minutes. That's his game, and he wins a lot of matches like that. This time he wasn't going to be shut down. Gadzi Dedzayev, he takes it in the final, like, again, 10 seconds. He's got to step out to tie it at 3. He was the last person to score, so he wins on criteria. That will be an outstanding finals. 86 kilo. We had Kudiev, 86 kilo, took out Vladislav Valiev. Tech followed him in like less than 30 seconds. It was pretty unreal considering that guy just won U23s. Now Valiev he's a bit older. Artur Nafanov, another Tokyo Olympic medals, he got granted a sit-out too, so he wasn't in this. But on the other side, oh man, another Kabardino, Bulgaria phenom, Malik Savayev, and man, he is super explosive again. High level stuff, basic arm drags. He had a 5-point move from an arm drag. I mean, these guys aren't doing anything super special, but they're so athletically talented that they can go hunt a guy down and throw him over their head at will. So that's what I really missed at the U.S. Olympic trials. Very boring for me. To me, that didn't look like wrestling. They were just tactically trying to win. And the guys in the Russian nationals, they're competing. This is like, when I think about Olympics, the first thing that comes to my mind is like gymnasts, how they can athletically move. And the Russians are constantly showing us that they can do these things. U.S., I'm not really impressed by much of anything that they do, to be honest with you. You know, the hand fight game, I'll give them that. It's impressive, which America's fairly known for. But technically, I didn't see anything like super outstanding that stood out. Everything in that nationals that I'm watching right now in Moscow, it's just unreal, the things that they do. And it's like every single bout that you watch. Now, obviously, this is the nationals, so there's more at stake. 97 kilograms. Abdul Rashid Sajalayev, he's my greatest all-time athlete in the world. He's phenomenal. He won a pretty uneventful bout, but in the attacks that he took, he demonstrated why he is like the most skilled wrestler in the world. On the other side, we had Alekan Zabrailov. Now, these two, I think they've met maybe once. No, actually, no. Zabrailov actually medically forfeited to him at one point, so they were supposed to meet. I think Sajalayev is going to take it. He better take it. I mean, this is his bid to get to his third Olympics, right? He's trying to win 3 Olympic gold medals. Snyder obviously is there. Tohuzdanov, another Dagestani who represents Bahrain, he's there as well. So last weight class, and before I get to questions, 125 kilograms to heavyweight. This has been like the poorest, most talentless and medal depleted weight class for Russia. I mean, all their other weights are just really, really deep and talented, and this is the one that hasn't really accomplished much of anything in the last 20-something years. But it looks like we have some really good talent here. Kurbanov is there. He's like a giant, and he's honestly frightening. He reminds me of Ivan Drago from Rocky. Just that stoic look on his face, no expression. When he picks somebody up, he's like going over their feet are going over their head. Like it's super impressive. On the other side, we had Musav Savayev. He was 97 kilograms, believe it or not, and he wrestled Kyle Snyder at the Urigan 2 years ago. Kyle won it, but Musayev hit some pretty slick technique, again, showing how exciting they are to watch. Even though they might lose, I think they're more exciting to watch and study and learn from. That's my recap for Russian Nationals. Obviously, the finals are tomorrow, 2 o'clock, Harvard time. That's Eastern Standard Time. If you guys have any questions, let me know.